9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder.
Hello, hi sir and my fellow friend. Before I present our task, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is JAMIN. I'm from course ISMP Kesusastraan Melayu and my numeric is D202093-122. Our title for our task presentation is the difference between modern and traditional food. Food is a topic that is most likely to be discussed among humans who doesn't like food. But what differ the food where is a modern and traditional? It depends on the taste, use of ingredients or method of preparation. Every food has its secrets and its taste. It's what it will different and make it different from the others. Next, we go to modern food first. The modern food has its own attractive power because it's more practical, fast in presentation. It also tastes sweet and it feels together with the throat of a slave today. Another modern food that is tasty and look elegant among the modern food now it like fast food and so on. As for traditional food is very popular among Malaysian society. This traditional food is not only interested by our society but also interested by the international group. Our country Malaysia consists of three main races, namely Malays, Chinese and Indian. There are various types of traditional food according to the main race in Malaysia. Among them are nasi lemak, roti canai and yong tau fu. So this is a little explanation for modern and traditional food. Next, we move toward history for this modern and traditional food. History of modern food. Marie Antoine Curie was a great chef in the era of classical cuisine from 1784 to 1833. A career as chef with 30 years of working experience in the first 19th century, Curie is the founder of classical cuisine. As a young man, he studied all branches in the field of cooking and was dedicated to perfecting and completing culinary techniques and on a regular basis. Most of his cookbooks emphasize the basic principle of cooking, recipe and very systematic menu. As a chef who was a chef to kings, head of state, a wealthy customer, Curie became famous for food display, elegant food displays such as wedding cake, modern wedding cake, sugar sculptures, and ice carving, the art of carving ice. Curie, as a book writer, was responsible for bringing culinary theory and the practice of medieval cooking into modern times. The history emphasis on the aspect of the development of new equipment, the development of new food products, awareness in sanitation and nutrition. The style is also changing where it's changing toward modern cuisine. For traditional food as well, this history will be more for every race, where every race has its own traditional food. I will start this Malaysian food culture with the Malay food culture. As a variety of side dishes will not be perfect if not accompanied by rice. Rice is the main food for Malaysian and Malay in general. Rice is also the lifeblood of Asian culture and custom. This small grain also managed to shape the dietary culture, nutrition and economy of the Asian population. In Malaysia, padi is the main crop in Kedah and Perlis and is known as the rice bowl of Malaysia. Rice is served with a variety side of dish and ulam-ulaman, ingredients used in cooking. Malay revolve around coconut milk, chili and belacan. Malay dishes are said to be able to warm the atmosphere at the dining table. Malay dishes are famous not only for their delicacy but also in terms of spiciness and also use of the spice. So that only for introduction and history. Next will be my friend will continue my presentation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. First of all, I will introduce myself. My name is KAMALIAH binti KAMARUDIN and my metric number is D2020-1093285. So, I will continue to my part, which is what is pro and con for modern and traditional food. First of all, we already know that modern food has a various type of ready-to-eat food, which is easy to find it in a convenience store or other store, and the price is very cheap. That's why all of people has access to this type of food. And modern food also have a multiple choice of products such as frozen and instant food like instant noodles, rice, pasta, hot dogs and nugget, also other else. But this kind of food also have a bad side, which is it contains high of sugar and salt, artificial ingredients, refined carbohydrate and trans fat. We already know that most of the modern food are processed food, and it's usually contain ingredients that could be harmful if consumed in excess, and also contain less dietary fiber and fewer vitamins than whole nutrition foods. When the food contains a lot of high sugar and salt, it can lead to weight gain and obesity. And other than that, modern food which contains a lot of sugar and salt can increase the risk of fatal disease like cardiovascular disease, coronary heart disease and diabetes. Next, we will continue the part with what is pro and cons that we have in a traditional food. As you know, traditional food are very cheap and easy to find. It because traditional food is common for most of people in Malaysia and have been consumed for many generations. And there is a lot of ethnic and race who produce their own traditional food as homemade or by the small manufacturers. That's why we all have an access to get this kind of food. Also, traditional food contains a lot of good nutrition and good for our body. And usually, we can find it at the stalls beside the road or in a small manufacturer. We also can get a lot of various type of traditional food with the cheap price rate. Nowadays, not a lot of people know how to make traditional food. And this is one of the cons that we have for traditional food. Because when you need to prepare some traditional food, you need to use a particular ingredients to make it. But when you don't have this kind of ingredients, you can't make it. Because some ingredients they need may not be ready or available on that time, and the preparation is hard and a bit complicated. So that's why not a lot of people want to make a traditional food, because they think the taste and flavor can be changed and different from the real taste. Besides, it is hard for a beginner to prepare or to make this kind of traditional food, because only some of people have a specialty to make a traditional food, especially an older generation. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is NURUL and HAFIQAH binti RAIM. My metric number is D202010944053, and now I will explain to you the next part, which is a real life use application. I will associate two types of food, which is a modern and traditional in real life use application. So an examples food that I will give is egg tortilla wrap, spaghetti chicken buttermilk, sago, and lastly cocktail. The first one for real life use or application is we can use for daily food like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and tea time. For example, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner we can use the spaghetti chicken buttermilk, And tea time is egg tortilla wrap, sago, and cocktail. Second can also be used for business. For example, the 4 types of food like egg tortilla wrap, spaghetti chicken buttermilk, sago, and cocktail, we can sell it at restaurant and more else. That we can use for celebrations like wedding ceremony, hari raya, and more else. I will give you 2 reasons why we can use this food for celebration. The first one is these 4 types of food is so interesting, unique, and delicious, so it's suitable for any celebrations. As you know, egg tortilla wrap, spaghetti chicken buttermilk, and cocktail is a modern food. Meanwhile, sago is a traditional food. So for the next reason is sago is one of very special foods for Malay's festival. So for the real life use or application is can use for daily food, can also be used for business, and lastly can be used for celebrations.
Assalamualaikum and hello to sir and everyone. I am NAZIRAH binti MOHAMAD with metric number D202010933366. We'll continue the discussion about tips to maintaining traditional food. As we can see, traditional food requires for cooperation, appreciation, protection, and identity to continue to be in the right place and upheld by society, especially younger generations. We don't want them to know more about forage food than their own heritage dishes. This is the biggest challenge we face right now. To maintain traditional food, some options such as influencers or YouTubers need to undertake initiative. They can make a documentation of the traditional food. The influencers or YouTubers can find the traditional cake makers to preserve the old recipes of these traditional foods, whether they are almost extinct or rarely made in today's societies. Its main goal is to maintain the perfection of our original recipes and traditional cake tips, as these treasures should not be kept, but it must be taught to the community in Malaysia for future generations. After that, the production of videos on how to make food and tips can be posted on the YouTube site for the use of the younger generation who typically tend to use gadgets during the cooking process. In addition, the traditional food production industry has great potential as it is able to attract foreign tourists who often visit the villages and hinterlands to explore the diversity of food heritage of the multicultural or multiracial community in Malaysia. And we develop this traditional food industry, we can diversify the existing food industry product. It is said so because the diversity of a product can attract the interest of its customers. For example, is bahulu cake, which is indeed only popular during festive season, such as wedding season, when the packaging of the bahulu cake for souvenir of guests present at their weddings. In this case, bahulu cake has become popular as well as famous during this generation. Furthermore, traditional industrialists must be wise to seek opportunities and platforms in order to promote or commercialize their product domestically and globally. If traditional industrialists apply a global approach in finding business opportunities, so it is not surprising that one day the country's traditional industrial product will be able to sit in the same line with international traditional industrial product. For example, traditional industrialists must be more proactive and creative in manipulating technology. By then, through the tips and tricks presented, it is hoped that our traditional food will not be lost by times. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So first of all, I will introduce myself. My name is KAMALIAH binti KAMARUDIN and my metric number is D2020109328. So today, I will show you how to prepare an egg tortilla wraps. Here I have 2 eggs, so I will boil up this egg around 5 to 10 minutes first. So we will boil it. We will cut all of this vegetable into the small pieces to make it easy to eat. So first, I will cut the cucumber. Okay. Okay, next we will continue with tomatoes. Okay, next I will cut off the cabbage. So now we will crush the egg and make it into the scramble. So I will mix it with the salt and Ajinomoto. Then mix it. We will start for the raising. First, we will use this tortilla egg. I use tortilla weight from Gardenia. So yeah, put it here. Then we will put the egg first because this is the main ingredients. So then make it like this. Next, put the vegetables. So I will put first the cabbage. Then I will put the cucumber. And the last one, I will put the tomato. So next, we will start to wrap it. I will wrap it from here, then here, and the last one we will put it here like this. So yeah, this is our tortilla egg rolls, and yeah. Easy, right? So that's all for my tutorial how to make tortilla egg wrap.
Hello, hi to sir and my fellow friend. My name is JAMIN and my nomenclature D2020-1093-122. Today I want to do my part B that I will cooking the menu. The name menu is spaghetti chicken buttermilk. So this is the ingredient that we need to for cooking this menu. Firstly, we need the spaghetti that we boil with hot water and put a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt. So this spaghetti done. After that, we have chicken, the breast chicken that we fry it until it be crispy. After that, butter this butter will the main menu, the main ingredient in this menu, and this cheese. Later I will use 1 or 2. After that, the chopped garlic and the slice of chili. And this we have evaporate creamer. Okay. We put this butter first until it melts in this hot pan. After the butter melts, we put the all chopped garlic. After that, we stir it. After that, if you see this garlic has smell, you put this chili. If you want more, I don't know. Let's see. If you want more chili, more. Depend on our set. After that, we put evaporate creamer in this pan. Okay, our next step for after this boil, after that we put the chicken. All the chicken, okay. Okay. After put all the chicken, we put the cheese. So it make more tasty and more milky and tasty. We see this buttermilk was boiled. We put this on this spaghetti.
This is the ingredient of sagu pudding with coconut milk and palm sugars. First, we have sagu pearl, palm sugar, coconut milk, red food coloring, salt, plain water, and pandan leaf. First, in the pot, sagu and water. Turn on medium heat. So that the sagu will not become firm. About 15 minutes. We need to treat the sagu, pour sagu into a strainer and wash off extra extract into running cool water. Make NAZIRAH, milk, palm sugar, and the palm sugar on a low fire about 5 minutes. Flavor coconut milk. Pour in coconut milk and salt. Boil on low fire until bubbles and stir consistently. Serve pudding with drizzling of palm sugar syrup and favorite coconut milk.
Hello, for this part I will make a drink and the name is cocktail. The reason why I choose this drink because it's so interesting, colorful and yummy. Before we make this drink, let me show you the ingredients. The first one is jelly, second tropical fruit cocktail, lastly evaporate creamer. So let's start it. Step 1. Take the tropical fruit cocktail. And then jelly. And then the evaporated creamer. And then the last is ice.